Congress, greetings from motherland Africa. I want to thank the leadership of the ITUC for permitting us to join delegates from across the United Kingdom and our invited guests from all over the world to share this momentous occasion with you. Congress, the future of Africa is intertwined with the future of the United Kingdom and the rest of the world. Today, it is clear and fair for us to say that the world cannot function. And you, delegates, workers, cannot do your brilliant work, especially those in the NHLs, without the extraction of the very critical minerals from Africa. For your mobile phones, for medical technology that the NHIS workers use to save lives, to the electric buses that transport workers across the country, and solar energy and wind farms that power everything around us. But when our futures is intertwined, it becomes more important for us to work together to shaping it, to serving everyone. This working together for us means the need for robust cooperation on development issues, managing natural resources, to addressing climate change issues, and tackling the global debt crisis. Comrades, for us in Africa, our union, our people, have been for a long time involved in the struggle to shaping and building a fit-for-purpose, resilient, virile trade union movement on the continent. It is for the purpose, of course, we see the benefits of your togetherness and your resolute spirit to reversing the years of decadence of previous administration by your overwhelming vote to restore the Labour Party to power. We see this as a true testament to your conviction that the Labour Party is and should continue to be the party for workers. We congratulate you for this effort. We are watching on our continent with keen interest the promised rollback that the Labour Party has made. And as we continue to watch also, we are critical of the fact that these policies that are rolled back here will not be transferred to Africa. Just like your 0 hours contract, the fire and refire policy, we in Africa have the daunting but not impossible challenge to organize all categories of workers, especially those in our enormous informal economy who are not recognized as workers. Those who are forced into the informal economy on account of grinding unemployment that we experience on the continent, and those who have engaged in new forms of work post-COVID-19. Our organizing will demand new and imaginative outside-the-box thinking, especially as we see with post-COVID-19, create new forms of work, intensification of work on account of COVID-19. We are thinking and we are asking, how do we organize better? Comrades, delegates, despite the extreme deregulation of our labor market in favor of free-trade capitalism, the austerity measures thrust upon us on account of IMF World Bank loans that our sundry government took, on account of very irresponsible lending, particularly that we saw during COVID-19 era. Lots of our governments were accorded loans without care for due process, because for those who lend the money, who borrowed us the money, they were concerned about profits and less about our people. We are told that despite all these austerity measures and obscene benefit that we have made to businesses, it is clearly not enough. That workers' blood must continue to be shed by all means through deregulation, privatization, for businesses to continue to strive. Comrades, and on account of this, workers' rights across the continent are on continuous erosion. The fight is evident for us on the erosion that more than ever before we need a renewed fight. The erosion, in terms of the evidence, we are seeing them very painfully in the situation where workers' organizations are battered, workers' organizations are attacked ceaselessly. The case of the Nigerian Labour Congress, the headquarters was raided at night, documents of the organization carted away, and trade union leaders accused of very serious crime against the state, felony subversion. In Eswatini, the government, under the absolute monarchy, is on a schizophrenic overdrive, state paranoia on another level, where we see the government attack and shoot to kill over 70 defenseless, harmless protesters. Just in the previous weeks and months that have passed, in Uganda, Zimbabwe, Kenya, we see where government take preemptive actions to arrest protesters, criminalize protests, and label civil society organizations as instigators and sponsors of protests. Comrades, a litmus test of a functional democracy can only be seen where the unions are free to organize, they have some independence of operation, and then they are able to assert pressure, and positive one at that, on the political process. In Africa, the situation is far from being so. But we know that our workers fought and paid dear prices for the decolonization of our continent, for the liberation of our people, especially in Southern Africa, and for the uprooting of apartheid. Sadly for us, today, we see that democracy is under renewed attack on our continent and globally. Democracy is legitimizing fascism. We are worried. This concern is evident for us. The previous speakers, a lot of them spoke very glowingly to that and tried to show why we all need to take action. We were concerned on the continent of Africa, where we saw in the United Kingdom, in the streets of London, migrant workers, asylum seekers, being attacked on account of being present here. Comrades, we want to say that the global climate crisis is real. Let no one delude us. The crisis is real. Africa contributes the least to the climate crisis, but we suffer the greatest of the impacts. And so when we demand that all of us must make contributions, especially rich economies, must make good contributions to financing just transition opportunities of how to get out of the crisis, please, we ask, let it not be seen that it's a sympathy thing. It is only a demand for shared justice. That when the people who suffer the broad impact of the least contribution are asking that a reversal should be made, and that to cause that reversal, we all must contribute to it. It is imperative that we all do so. And so, therefore, delegates, we want to employ you, we want to appeal to you in your different spaces and opportunities, and that you can muzzle your pressure, that you can muzzle and you can pressure government to do the right thing in terms of financing just transition. Please do not hesitate to do so. We implore you, double down, insist that this happen. Comrades, I cannot leave this stage without discussing the question of peace and security in Africa and the world. Africa continues to be a theater of war, avoidable conflicts, much so, to the growing tension that we see now with the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda, to what we see in Ethiopia and Sudan, and the challenges in the Sahel. We are concerned that the humanitarian crisis that these conflicts throw up are unimaginable. But I will tell you, comrades, this manifestation shows that the industrial arms complex continues to, instigate this conflict so that business can be as usual, can be more lucrative. The case of Ukraine and the Palestine is one that we cannot close our eyes to. We demand, we ask you, we encourage you, we plead that for the next 2 days, whilst you are here and you are doing your good business, that you must compare your government, especially the UK government, to be among those who must demand and push and let it happen for us to have ceasefire across conflict zones. It is imperative, it is important, it is needed. But more importantly, we on the continent of Africa subscribe to a two-state solution for the Palestine cause. It is possible. It can be done. Comrades, finally, we are also seeing on our continent that multilateralism is more under critical attack more than ever before. On account of underfunding of multilateral institutions, an aggressive neoliberal agenda push within these international institutions, multilateralism has been captured by organized business. From the somewhat misnamed Commonwealth to the United Nations, our global institutions need to be more representative of the people they claim to serve. Within the United Nations, the culture of veto is one that on our continent today we cannot understand. If we talk about a world that is democratic and inclusive, the regime where very few countries can torpedo, overturn, undermine a collective process is difficult for us to understand. And we are saying it is time that we get rid of this system that is not inclusive, that is not democratic. The International Labour Organization is calling for a global coalition for social justice. For our people on the continent, we respect and we appreciate this, and we ask you, just like you will be discussing, to please get the UK government to support this call. We see it as an opportunity to advancing the change that we need. Comrades, these are difficult times, but these are not times for despondency. I like the message we have been hearing since morning, afternoon, that there is a need for us to renew hope. There is a need for our movement and the political party, especially the UK's Labour Party, to bring back hope for people. To do this, comrades, it means for us that are here, the essence of our working class solidarity must be renewed. We must recommit to our working class solidarity, recommit to our essence of humanism. For Africa, we are also looking up to our brothers and sisters all over the world, comrades, especially those in the UK, to do more it can to continue to support workers that are in difficult situations on the continent that are not backing down despite the renewed form of autocratic, despotic regimes that we are forced to live with every day. As workers of the world, we are a part and parcel of shaping our society and our reality. To fold our hands is beyond fatality. We cannot afford it. We must all stand up together, speak strong, and fight well. It is our belief, when we do fight, we win. When we choose to think that we cannot fight, comrades, that option is not for workers of the world. Viva ITUC UK. Viva. Viva ITUC UK. Viva. Viva working men and women of the world. Viva. Amandla. You say away too. Amandla. Thank you, and God bless you.